Hello, today we're going to make a bench, bog standard bench. I got some recycled oak, which we're going to be using here. They're not perfect, they've got some holes in them, some knots on the go, a little bit of water damage on the main bits. They're already cut to size, so let's get started. First things first, we're going to glue them. This shit is the business. This is what we're going to be using for the glue. It's for interior and exterior, but our bench is going to be interior. Tip top glue, takes about 8 hours for bonding. I think, I never actually read it, but I have always used it. 24 hours it says. Don't stress the joints. So anyway, we're going to glue with that. Let's get ahead and do it. Now what you want to do is, see that water damage there? I don't think that's going to be a problem, should be fine. You want to have your edges smooth as possible so that the glue is going to adhere better. If you have a plane, you can plane them. If you have a fine sander, you can sand them. Ideally they should be clear and clean. I'm stuck these 2 pieces of wood down under as well so that it keeps it clear off the desk. I don't mind glue dripping on my workbench, but I don't want the pieces to stick to the bench. And furthermore, you need enough space, obviously. I'll move a couple of pieces of shit out of the way, because I am not a clean worker. I have always got crap on my workbench. I am going to use clamps, and hopefully things go well. What you can do if you like is take some masking tape, and you can tape the edges where the glue might spill out, like so. Maybe get a better angle for you, like so. Then when you glue here and you squeeze them together, there's going to be glue that spills out, but it's going to spill out on the tape, which can save you a lot of trouble later with sanding and stuff, but it also saves you a lot. It also gives you a lot of trouble to do, so I'm going to dodge that and just carry on. Definitely going to need clamps. I've got 3 big beasts here. Because although you don't have to act fast, you do need to kind of get it done before the glue takes any adhesion away from how it was. Just put them up there with other shite. Right, here we go. Right, so that's the glue on. It should bond fine. There's a couple of gaps where I don't think the jointer's done a very good job of flattening these pieces of wood, and then when it's went through the plane it's just kept the shape. But we can fill these little bits with wax. Because it's just going to be a bench for drawing and putting boxes on, it's not a piece I'm going to be selling. I think I can live with that. Okay, I thought while the glue's drying, I'm going to take the wax and I'm going to fill in some of these holes, because why not? You know, we don't need to wait on the glue drying for that. So I've got this wax here. See it? It's about the same colour as this oak will be once I've oiled it at the end, so we're going to go with that. Take a razor to it directly. This one's a bit old and shit, so let me see what happens. I work around the clamp, it's not easy. You can see there, it's filled in all the holes just right. And once that's sanded, it'll look fantastic. Okay, so I'll flip the bench, as you can see here. I flipped it up. We had problems with the glue underneath. It looked like it was going to get stuck to the wood that I had at the bottom. There's a lot of holes underneath, but because it's the underside, it's nothing I'm worried about, to be honest. But we've got 24 hours waiting on it to dry, so yeah, we'll wait. Right, that's been 24 hours, let's have a look at it. Looking fine, looking good. The holes under it are looking a bit shit, but other than that, let's see the front side. Tip, top, next step, we're going to sand it. It's looking pretty rough now, but hopefully when it gets sanded down it'll start looking a wee bit smoother. Excuse me, a wee bit more like a piece of furniture than a piece of shit. Aye, let's get to it. I've got a wee sanding machine, let me see. Perfect for this shit. 8 to grit, ideal. Still a bit of life left in that piece of paper. Right, so what I'm going to be doing is just sanding it, trying to get it as smooth as I can, get all the glue off it, get all the wax off it. Basically try and make it look a bit smoother than it is. Right, okay, so that's both sides done. It's looking smooth, it's looking good, we're going to move on. I've got the legs here. Wrapped in tape, I'll split them out now. But what the idea is that the bench should be high enough so that there's decent storage underneath. And the ideal storage is these plastic boxes. So right now the legs are 600mm, but they can, well, obviously they can be shortened a little bit. Okay, so what we've got here is non-flush edges here. There and there. It's the same on the other end. It's a fair sized piece of wood, so I'm just going to trim it here. So, perfect, it's got a straight edge on it. We use that at 90 degrees. Take about 5mm. Circular saw. Okay, so the legs are cut, they're looking good, and what we're going to do is have a wee think about it and actually use these small coasters that we have from the ends of the legs, and I'm going to cut away to them like so. And they're going to sit flush under the table with the leg attached like so. So it's getting late, I am going to call it a night and we'll pick it up tomorrow. Right, fuck it, we're going to put the legs, we're going to put the things on the legs. I've got some screws here, 6x70s, they're pretty large so they're going to hold it. Just going to drill some holes, just going to put the screws into the legs. I'll probably just show you one and I'll do the rest out of camera. Right, check it out, I've marked here, a couple of lines so I know the width of the wood. We're going to put 2 holes just here and here, it doesn't matter, we drill the back or the front because we're going to sand it. So, go for it. 1, 2, buckle my shoe, go to the leg, and line it up to the holes we've drilled, the marks we've made, ideal. Simple screw. Look at that, beautiful. And now that will stand up on the bench. A little bit of sanding, a little bit of fixing. Gonna be great. I'm gonna get on with the rest and we'll pick it up again tomorrow. Just a quick once over like so that we've got a really nice smooth surface. You want the leg to stick properly, and you also don't want to be getting in there with your hand sander once it's all glued up, because that could be a pain in the hoop. I'm going to crack on and do the other 4, and we'll see how it looks once we've measured up for the legs and where they're going to sit. Right, all 4 seem to be in decent shape. One more thing I'm going to do to them is wee bit carpenter's trick here. You want it to look pretty smooth. You don't want that sharp edge. That sharp edge has to go. Now the top of the bench, I'm going to run the router around it. I've got like a hand router that's going to just take the edge off it, make it a little bit curved. But on the legs, a good thing to do is just to run your sander over it, just a very slight amount, just to take the edge off the corner. It gives it a little bit of a more pro look, rather than it looking like you've just nailed things together. I have not thought of a good reason as to why I can't screw these legs in. And I've got a configuration here as well. So it's kind of like opposing ends. Support at the back, support at the other side, standing up. I think it's going to look much better than just having them straight up. And the supports had a nice feature as well. So what I'm going to do is actually just screw in 1, 2, 3, 4 on the back, and I'm going to put glue underneath just to give it that a bit extra strength. But I have no real way of clamping them other than to screw them, so I'm just going to screw them in. I want to get it millimetre perfect, because what's the point if you're not going to get it right? You're going to spend so much time making a bench and fuck it up on the leg supports. Right, it looks good. Okay, all the legs are on. Bump, bump. I'm going to attempt to put the structural supports on now. A couple of pilot holes, a couple of screws just to hold it. And I will 100% put a dab of glue on there too. Because the glue isn't, although it's going to be, it probably would be fine with the glue. I don't have anything to clamp it with again, so I think it's going to be okay with a screw. Anyway, I'm going to attempt one. Let me see how it goes. You alright, Angus boy? Alright, check it out. It's starting to look like a bench. We've got the supports, got the legs on. Things are very sturdy. We're not quite finished underneath. We're going to do a bit more sanding, but we're going to have a look first and see how it stands up, see how it looks. Fairly heavy now. Nice enough, sturdy. Tomorrow we've got much more sanding to do. We've got, we're going to take a router and make the edges all soft, rounded all the way around it. So the end is in sight, the bench is basically structured. So yeah, till tomorrow. Small update to the underside. I have made these little supports from some heat treated oak that I had lying around. It's just on a couple of pieces of recycled wood, and I'm going to have them so that they fit here like so. I'm not going to screw these on, just use a wee blob of glue, same shit we've been using so far. The idea is just for aesthetics. It's going to sit. It's not for any type of support because they are sturdy already with the supports that we've put on them. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and glue, a little dab of glue, no screws. This stuff is heat treated oak. It's very nice when it's oiled. It comes out really deep. It's going to be a great contrast between the standard oak. Not so much, and you don't want any spillage, just a little square. Okay, give that 7 or 8 hours just to finally stick. A little spillage on the edge there. Right, I'm going to stick the router around the edge now, try and get a bit rounded underneath. I'll just skim it round and we can see how it looks after that. It's probably going to need sanded as well because it's not the sharpest of bits I've got on it. Yeah, let's get to that. Right, there's been the router on the edge, looking great. I'm waiting on the glue drying underneath, and I think I'm just going to give it one more overall sand, 120 grit, make sure it's nice, no burn marks on it from the router, no grain sticking up, and then it's time to oil it, so we're almost finished. So, we're done sanding. Not going to be sanding any longer anymore. 120 grit I put it up to. It's very smooth. So now we are going to wax it. I've made this, it's like a mixture of mineral oil and beeswax. You just heat it up on the stove, put them together, give it a bit of stir, and let it cool down. Ideally what you want to do is put a little bit on a credit card or on some kind of plastic and then just spread it on. So it's actually quite pleasant to work with because you get that beeswax smell off it. It smells nice, and the more you work it, like this one-to-one mix, 50-50 it's a little bit hard when if you're not going to have a warm room to do it in. It's a little bit hard, but the more you work it, the softer it gets, the easier it becomes. It's okay if you miss a spot as well, because probably you'll catch it on the second coat, and when it comes to wiping it down with a rag or buffing it up, it kind of spreads out anyway. So this heat treated oak at the bottom is going to look fantastic, I think. when I get to it. Good for your hands too. Moisturiser. Okay, that's it waxed. You want to let that soak in overnight, and all the oil should go in and leave a nice wax cover on it. You give it a buff tomorrow. It should come up really shiny, really nice. It's already looking great. The wax is making the grain really pop out, and it's giving it a bit of a good protective barrier as well. So you can spill water on it now and it should be fine. Yep, so that's the process for making a bench. It's the same for pretty much all woodwork projects I do. A lot of sanding, a lot of patience. Take your time and it usually turns out well. Any ideas for future videos, let me know. Any comments on this particular project, let me know. Yeah, like, subscribe, usual stuff. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.